So we're on. Okay, cool. Let's get started. This is Parasites in You, a tour, and we're going to go live on Facebook, right? Huh? Okay. So this is a tour of various parasites, and some of them come from our patients, actually. And we have an email, parasites@the.nhcaa.com. And that stands for the Nutritional Healing Center Ann Arbor.com. And the reason why we set up this email address is because back in 2007, when I really figured out parasites really well, I had people bringing in jars of parasites and baggies of parasites and taking pictures. And after about 6 months or more of that, I just was so disgusted. I was like, don't show me any parasites, don't bring them in the office. You can talk about them, and you can draw them on paper. And so we just set up this email so that people can send their pictures, and then I can look at them before or after lunch, depending on my fortitude. All right. So there's some big categories of parasites. So nematodes, this is a picture of a nematode in a person's eyeball, and this is not a patient. But I pulled up this particular PubMed article. It says at the top, PubMed, many hundreds of millions of people are affected by nematodes. So what kind of number is that? We don't know. It could be 100 million, 500 million. It could be in the billions, whatever. So there's over 7 billion people on the planet. This is a big deal, and parasites are probably, in my opinion, probably the most undiagnosed condition, probably next to eating junk food. I mean, that's the worst disease in the Western world, is eating junk food. And then that's overlooked, and then we got parasites that are overlooked. Here's nematodes. These are flukes. And this is a different PubMed article. And it says, nematode infections are among the most neglected tropical diseases, despite their worldwide distribution and extraordinary ability to parasitize many different host species and host tissues. So they can use, crabs or fish or snails as their host, where they spend their life cycle. Then it says, furthermore, these parasites are of great socioeconomic, medical, veterinary, and agriculture importance. What that means is it's very destructive, and it costs a lot of money because it harms agricultural animals and people and societies, and it affects the medical doctors, veterinary doctors, and farmers. So I got a quick story. I'm not going to say any names, but the person who listens to this story, they know who they are. And this is years ago in my office. I had a Rife machine, which is a machine that imparts frequencies, and the frequencies are antimicrobial, developed by a guy named Royal Rife back in the 20s and 30s. It's a fantastic technology, and you can Google it, R-I-F-E, F as in Frank, Rife. And so I turned this machine on, and this person started getting flukes out of their lungs. Do you know the story? Liver flukes every morning, driving to work, coughing a liver fluke into the empty cup of coffee. For years, liver flukes coming out, and she wasn't even a patient involved with the Rife machine, just the fact that the Rife machine was on, and she's in the vicinity of it. And so liver flukes or lung flukes. Did I say she was coughing a lung flukes or liver? It was lung flukes. I mean, she's coughing it up, driving to work into her cup of coffee. All right, here's Strongyloides, threadworm, and it's really small, but from this PubMed article, it says 30 million to 100 million people are infected with threadworms or Strongyloides. And who knows, maybe it's 500 million, but it's a lot of people. This is an article from an Australian newspaper. It says, Sunshine Coast mom describes worms burrowing in her feet after Vietnam holiday. So she's on vacation on the beach in Vietnam, and she noticed that there were a lot of dogs running around the beach, and she walked back and forth from her blanket to the water, and then a week later, after she got home, her feet really started to hurt, and you can see the picture of her skin with red lines all around it. So the larvae of the parasites dug into her skin. That's how they enter. That's how some of them enter. And then they crawl, they form into a worm, and they crawl around your body. Now, years ago, I took my staff. This is a time when I had a very small staff. I took, probably 5 of us. We went to Florida for a seminar. And this is during the wintertime. The water was chilly. I mean, it's Florida. It's still nice. We had dinner. After dinner, we're by the water. We take off our shoes. We roll up our pant legs up to our knees. We run into the water, turn around, and run out. And that was, let's say Friday night or Saturday night. Well, Monday morning, back in Michigan, one of my employees came in the office, and she shows me that her foot has these red lines going up from her toes up to her ankles. And I did the muscle testing procedure that we do, and I found parasites. And I mean, I didn't know the information that I have now, but that's exactly what it was. And she was in tears. And to be honest, she was the weakest immune system of all my staff. And it's as if the parasites are in the water or in the sand, and they're looking for the weak immune system. Because this woman here, her kids didn't get sick, and they mentioned that in the article. She's the only one that got sick, so she must have the weaker immune system. So they're scanning all the feet, and they're looking for who's got the weakest immune system, and they jump in your skin, and they start crawling around. So let me just kind of switch. I got plenty of stories, I got plenty of pictures, but I'm going to share with you right now solutions. And because I don't want to freak you out, I don't want to do any fear-mongering, I don't want to leave you thinking that, oh my God, I'm screwed for the rest of my life, there's no solutions. There are great solutions, and the best solutions actually come from Mother Nature. And certainly drugs can work, but to be honest, you got to take supplements or whatever therapy long enough for them to work. So in medicine, they typically give you 1 pill in 1 day, or maybe 3 days worth of pills, and they think that they got it. And it's not a true statement. You can be on anti-parasitic type supplements for 2 years or more. And to be honest, so I've been battling parasites since 2007. I got rid of 1 a year up until about last year. And then I took a particular supplement called Para3. It comes in this little tiny bottle. And I got rid of 12 parasites in 2 weeks. And then this got rid of parasites out of my nose. I'll get to that. I got a picture of that, which I've been sharing since, I've been saving it since March. But anyways, the point is years. Now, why do I keep having parasites? Maybe because I go swimming in the lake. And that's a thing that people do in Michigan. There's plenty of freshwater lakes. And there's got to be parasites in them. So I'm not going to not swim in the lake, but I'll probably keep getting parasites. But this is from a company called Cellcore Biosciences. They make Para3 and they make Para 1 and 2. These are products that help get rid of parasites. They're phenomenal. They're the best I've seen in my career. And so we have 5 phases of healing. Phase 2 and 3 are parasites. Phase 1 is called energy and drainage. That's like preliminary, preparing your body for getting rid of parasites, making it stronger, making your mitochondria work better so you have more energy, meaning ATP, that chemical. And the more ATP you have, the better your immune system is, the better you feel physically, you have more energy, and the better you are able to detoxify. Everything your body does requires ATP, and if you don't make enough, you're not ever going to get well, period. You got to get that up. So, like I said, so phase 2 is parasites in the intestine from the supplements called Para 1 and Para 2. I'm not going to get into details about these. And then phase 3 is parasites from head to toe. Not inside the cells, but rather outside the cells. And I have a guy from New Mexico with cold feet. He's in his late 20s. And I put him on the Para3, phase 3. And his feet started to sweat. and his hands started to sweat, and his stomach started to sweat. These are odd symptoms, but that's what happens. The body does weird things, and you start eliminating these parasites and ropeworms and mucus and nests, like little tapioca pudding nests of parasites. Yep. We have a couple people in the audience, and they're shaking their head, and they're going like this. Ugh. Okay. So para 3. I was on para 3 for 2 months straight, and I got these twinges of pain, and it's not the easiest thing to go through, and you got to just like suck it up and get through it. And then I stopped it after 2 months. Now I'm on it. Okay. So it's depending on how your body responds. It's all about how your body responds. So there's some people, they go on these supplements, and they get rid of one parasite, and they're done, and that's it. Other people, they get rid of nothing. Their intestines are already clean. Other people, they get rid of parasites for 6 months or even 2 years. Okay, you just start it, and then you monitor it, and you just see what happens. That's how this works. Phase 4 is heavy metal detox, radioactive elements, and chemicals. So why do you do heavy metal detox after you get rid of parasites? The reason why is because parasites hold on to heavy metals. They can hold on to 5 to 6 times their weight in heavy metals. So if you're trying to detox heavy metals, but you're filled with ascaris, or some other, or hookworm or something, there's no point, because the parasites have the heavy metals. Phase 5, that's individual organisms like Lyme and getting rid of fungus, etc. Individual organisms. So why do you get rid of individual organisms in phase 5? Because parasites in phase 2 and 3, they hold on to these organisms. They hold on to Lyme bugs. They hold on to fungus. The parasites will have fungus on them. And it can be seen with a microscope. It's like a dog with ticks. You can see the ticks. Well, parasites can have fungus on them or in them. So parasites are like garbage trucks. They're driving around the neighborhood. They stink. They're dropping stinky fluid, and their paper is flying all over the place. And that's what a parasite is. They're filled with garbage, and they're messing things up, and they make you ill. And they eat your food. They're worse than garbage trucks, because garbage trucks don't eat your food. And they poop in you, and they're making other chemicals, and they're harming your body. And by definition, parasite means one who eats at the table. And they're not supposed to be eating at your table, right? They're eating your food. Okay, so there you go. There's the 5 phases of healing. Phase 2 and 3 are parasites. And there's some people, I have them go through phase 1 quickly, and now they're on phase 2 and 3 for like 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. And it's not until later we start doing phase 4 and 5. Other people, we go through phase 2 and 3 within 2 months. And then we do heavy metal detox, and now they're doing that for 6 months or more. Other people, we do phase 5 within 6 weeks. We're on phase 5, and they're doing that for a year. So everybody's different, but it's somewhere along the way, you got to hit every single one of these phases. All right, let's look at more pictures. All right, this is the parasite I blew out of my nose in March from para 3. So I'm in the shower, I blow my nose, it goes on the floor, and I continue washing, and then a few minutes later, I look down on the ground in the shower, and there it is. It's still there. I'm like, well, that's interesting. It didn't go down down the drain. So I'm trying to pick it up. The water's still coming down on me, and it's all super slippery. It's really slimy and gross. And I can't pick it up, so I'm pushing it along the wall, like this, trying to get it away from the shower water, and I was able to grab it. I put it on the countertop, and I take a picture of it. So it's about 1 inch long, and man, my face felt so much better. Like it was cleared out. And you can look at that and say, well, it looks like snot. Well, it does look like snot. But it maintained this form, even with the water beating on it, and my fingers like trying to pick it up. it held a form that snot would not hold. This is a parasite. There's a worm. It's the form of a worm. It's got a structure that is not easily disintegrated. Now, a few weeks earlier, and I didn't get a picture of this one, but I had one come out earlier. And this is super interesting. So on a Sunday night, I'm trying to blow my nose. Nothing comes out. I could feel something stuck in there. It's big, and it wants to come out. So next morning, Monday morning, I'm in the shower, blow my nose, it won't come out. So I step out of the shower, I'm getting ready to shave, and it falls from my sinuses, it falls out into my throat. And I spit it into the bathroom sink, sorry, and it was half black and it was about this big around, and half of it was black and half of it was red. And it was super slippery again, and it went right down the sink. I couldn't capture it, couldn't take a picture of it. But I'm telling you, it's like this pressure. I've had chronic sinus problems since day one, and my mom would complain about me in grade school and high school, always snorting and always snorting, like always with congestion. And so, having been through all this, 3 days ago, I bought cottage cheese and then a little half pint of chocolate milk with all the sugar and all the dairy, and another half pint of strawberry milk with all the sugar and all the, mucusy and lactose and all that dairy, right? All the pus that comes with milk. And I drank one of them, and I ate a container of cottage cheese. And I was testing my sinuses. That's why I did it. I was testing my sinuses. And so that was Sunday night. And Sunday night I was good. Monday morning I was good. And Monday at lunchtime, or was it Tuesday? Yeah, it was yesterday. So I'm in my office manager's office. I ate lunch there. And I went to blow my nose in the napkin because I'm so used to it. And nothing came out. And I'm like, see, look. And I was telling her, look. I don't have anything to blow out of my nose. That's how clear it is. So that was my test. And the person that made these supplements from Cellcore, his name is Todd Watts, Dr. Todd Watts. He did the same thing. He got all cleared out, and he had Lyme, he had parasites, he had chronic fatigue, etc. And then one day he knew he was better. You could feel it. So he goes to Five Guys restaurants, and he orders a big milkshake. He drank the whole thing, all the sugar, all the milk, and he had no problem with the sinuses. Today, this morning with my patient, all day today I was with patients, and I had 4 people on the phone. All 4 of them independently said, dairy makes it worse. Dairy is a huge factor for making your sinuses worse because it feeds the fungus and it feeds the parasites and it feeds the bacteria. Those bugs love sugar and dairy. So when you get to the point where you can eat ice cream and drink milk and eat cottage cheese with no sinus problems, then you know you're in good shape and you got those parasites cleared out of your sinuses and cleared out of your intestines. That's a goal. And I'm not saying dairy is good. There are some people obviously born with the dairy allergy, it's genetic, right? But anyways, beyond that, if you get rid of parasites and now you can drink milk with no problem, then you've reached a really good achievement. All right, so there's that. This is a woman named Robin Goff, Goffe, and she's speaking at this conference called Autism One. This is a group of doctors and moms whose kids are autistic, and they give lectures like this, and they teach each other how they are curing or helping their kid. This group, Autism One, they are attacked. You cannot believe the trolls and the Satanists and the people that hate you don't want them to succeed. They want their kids autistic. They want their kids stupid. You know how people are on the internet. And so Robin's been attacked like crazy. Anyways, she has been able to decipher or determine that vaccines have parasites in them. So when you take a virus and you got to grow it, in order to make, a million or 100 million vaccines, you have to grow it somewhere, like in the kidney of a monkey or in a dog. You got to grow that virus somewhere. So then after you get enough, you harvest the virus from the kidney monkey, right? And then so you pull that virus out of the kidney. What else is coming with it? Right? What else is coming with it? Retroviruses, bacteria, fungus, parasites. Why not? How can you possibly say that there are no retroviruses, fungus, parasites, or bacteria coming out of that kidney along with the virus you're trying to harvest? So Judy Mikovits, she got really popular during this COVID lockdown. She said retroviruses are in these vaccines. And then every time she said this on YouTube, it got shut down, it got taken down. And I got a friend who interviewed her on Facebook, and within 20 minutes of posting the video, it got taken down. Maybe it's because it's true, but so show me, like, actually, I just found this weekend, there's a textbook called Autoimmune Disease and Vaccines. It's a textbook. You could do a college course on the autoimmune diseases that come from vaccines. And some people think that vaccines are safe. That's completely false, 100% false. Okay, they do some damage to some degree, as does all medicine. You'd actually expect it to cause damage. All of medicine, with the pharmacies and the surgeries, right, all of medicine causes some damage. That's called side effects. And so anyways, can you get parasites from vaccines? Sure. That's why autistic kids, let's say a boy who's at 4 years old is now, losing their ability to socialize, and now they're stimming, right, or they're hyper-focused on something, and you're going to start treating them. You got to take care of parasites, you got to take care of fungus, you got to take care of virus, and you got to take care of heavy metals. You got to do all of it, because the vaccine can deliver all of it with one shot, and that's how it can destroy people's lives. All right, here's a great story. So notice the picture. The parasite-looking thing on this side, the longer one. Okay, this parasite was in a gentleman. I talked to him on the phone on a Thursday, and it was a new patient visit. I had read his symptom survey, and we were talking, and he gave me these symptoms. And I said to him, I think you have parasites. And he probably got the parasites from surfing in the ocean. And so that was Thursday. I recommended some supplements. That night, he's talking to his wife, and she asked him, well, how did it go with Dr. Schmidt? And he goes, well, I don't believe Dr. Schmidt. I don't think I have parasites. The next morning, Friday morning, he feels hair on his tongue. And he's got, a wife and a couple daughters. And he's thinking in his head, yeah, the hair on these women, makes the bathroom floor dirty, blah, blah, blah. He's complaining in his head about women's hair in the bathroom, right? So he's trying to get this hair off of his tongue, and that's what he pulls off his tongue. A 14-inch worm off his tongue. And it's so disgusting, he immediately vomits. And then these two things on the left, the other two things come out with the vomit. So it just proves that, yeah, I was right, he's got parasites. 9 days later, he gets the supplements in the mail that I had recommended. So these came out because we were talking about them. Parasites are, it's, unique. This is a unique story, right? It's so disgusting, and awesome at the same time. All right, now, and this is a picture, a close-up of what was in that bathroom sink. So it's got that form to it. It's got proteins and connections, and it's got stuff there. Okay, this is another patient, and the main symptom is rashes, kind of from here down, from the neck down. And she'd been struggling on and off with rashes for a long time. And when I put her on the parasite supplements, a wide variety of things started to come out. And they said, just email some of the best pictures that you have. So here's one of them. Now this is is it a parasite or is it a ropeworm? A ropeworm is typically garbage, if you will, that's been accumulating in the intestines, and it will oftentimes take the form of the intestinal wall. So it'd be like, like that. Okay, and but you can send this to a lab and they can look at it. Maybe it's got some DNA or whatever, but it's about 3 feet or 2.5 feet right there. So she's got a 1 foot measurement on the tape, and it's like it goes that way and then this way and then that way. So it's about 2.5 feet long. Now I had a patient, he was normal size here and here, but he had this big gut protruding out. And I put him on the para 1 and 2, and he got rid of 50 to 70 feet of this kind of stuff, and his stomach became very flat. So, sometimes people have this big gut because bad diet, or it could be their intestines are just filled with stuff that needs to come out. So, excuse me. So there's that. Okay, so I just have a few more stories. I'm going to turn this off, and then I'm going to go over the rest of these supplements. You good? Do you need to turn this one down from YouTube? Okay, a few more stories. Okay, so picture this. We got a husband and wife, and they're in their 70s. And the wife has joint pain, arthritis, and has some knee replacement surgeries and shoulder problems. And you can diagnose that osteoarthritis or whatever. And I put her on one of these 3 supplements. These are liquids. So we have IS-BART. BART stands for Bartonella, which is one of the Lyme organisms. And notice it's kind of a larger bottle, it's 4 ounces, and then the eyedropper inside, it's larger than what you typically see. And then this is IS-BOR for Borrelia, another Lyme organism, Borrelia. Borrelia burgdorferi. And so Dr. Burgdorferi is the guy that sort of started studying Lyme. And Lyme disease is named after Lyme, Connecticut, where it was first discovered. And then IS-BOOST, so to help the immune system, same sort of idea. These are multi-herbal. One of them has 13 herbs, the other one has 22 herbs. So the combination of these herbs gets rid of organisms that are inside the cells, which is different, right? So parasites outside the cells, but you also have to clean out the inside of the cells. So I put this wife on, I forgot which one, I think it was IS-BART, and her pain's down to 25% in a few weeks. So there's organisms in her joints, destroying her joints. Now, Lyme organisms, they hate the blood, and they leave the blood, they go deep into the brain, they go deep into the joints, where there's the least amount of blood. Okay, I'm bringing this up because the husband doesn't have any joint pain around the same age, right, mid-70s. He's doing really good. He's doing surprisingly well, considering that they've had the same diet, and they've been living together for all these years. And the question is, well, what's the difference between him and her? And she asked the question, well, where did I get these organisms from? And I said, well, the standard answer is eating food, drinking water, walking barefoot in sand or soil, and touching animals. And it's like, well, duh, that's the problem. Because she loves dogs, she loves cats, she always pets the animals, and he does not like animals. He does not touch the animals. And so that's why you could think potentially, and I think it's true, I think that's why she's suffering like she is, and he's not. That's the difference. He doesn't pet the dog, he doesn't kiss the dog, he doesn't touch the cats, he goes to people's houses, he doesn't touch the animals. And I think that's the difference. Kind of interesting. Okay, so I showed that, and then let's talk about these last supplements. So this company, Systemic Formulas, has a product called VRM1 and VRM2 and VRM3 and VRM4. And so we'll use these sometimes. And VRM, just think of like vermin. That's what that's for, to kill organisms. And these last two are from a company called MediHerb. One is called wormwood, the other one's called artemisinin. So wormwood kills parasites. And actually that's where they make absinthe from. The alcoholic drink is from wormwood. But that's a different chemical. Now the main ingredient of wormwood that kills parasites is called artemisia. So this product, artemisinin, has extra artemisia. So I like to use artemisinin when I don't know what it is, like what kind of organism it is. So let's say we do a lab test and the thyroid antibodies are high on a person. So there's an organism attacking the thyroid, the immune system attacks the organism. But if this is going on for a period of years, the immune system gets confused and it starts to attack the thyroid. That's what the autoimmune attack is when you have thyroid antibodies. And hospitals don't ever test this. Endocrinologists don't ever test this. You got to go to a pioneering holistic doctor to get a thyroid antibody test. It's unfortunate that the whole profession misses this mark. But I've had 6 people, including myself, with high thyroid antibodies, and artemisinin brings it down. And it makes the swelling go away, and it makes the energy go up. And so why would artemisinin do that? It's because it's killing the organism that caused the problem in the first place. So we're going all the way back to the cause by adding in artemisinin. Okay, so let's wrap this up with the diet. So I'll talk about the carnivore diet, and then I have one phrase to end off on. So the best diet for helping your immune system get rid of these parasites and other organisms, it's a meat-based diet. Because your immune system, it's multiple tissues, right? Skin, lymphatic system, that includes blood, and mucosal membranes in your nose, in your sinuses, in your lungs, and there's more to it than that. So what does it take to have a strong immune system? Strong tissues. Nothing beats meat to keep your tissues strong. And bone marrow to make, blood cells. Again, that's animal-based eating. Now, the plants, they can have poisons in them, the naturally occurring toxins that can mess up your immune system and cause problems. And so I have recommended for a couple people to stay away from meat because when they eat it, they feel horrible because they have Lyme disease, for example. But that doesn't mean you should avoid liver. So my next lecture, whether I do it live or just on YouTube, I'm going to talk about liver. I have some fantastic, amazing success stories when I have people eating a half a pound to a pound of liver. So I have a patient now, she's vegan because she can't eat meat. It makes her feel worse because she's got Lyme disease. I totally understand. So keep eating some plants, but you got to add the liver in and just see how it goes. In the meantime, I got her on these multi-herbals with all of their the chemicals that the plants have that are toxic to kill those organisms. And we'll see how our body does with that. So there's my little section on the diet. So there's a series of TV shows on parasites by the BBC. And at the end of their season, they said that when it comes to parasitology is the way that the world works. You either have a parasite or you are a parasite. So that's how I'm gonna what's your face? So that's how I'm going to end off. All right, you can turn these off. All right, thanks. See you at the next video.